I think my next direction, I'm keeping comedy in my mind because even with music, I don't feel comfortable as like a really serious person. So,
Right.
I kind of just feel like I can be more honest with comedy. So I started writing some really funny songs, and I kind of want to play more characters
Yeah.
and impressions.
I
And
think
I started to write like one day, even if it's 20 years from now, I want to do stand up. So I'm like writing every night. I'm like writing jokes. I'm like, for every 100 jokes, one of them is good,
right.
like,
No, I know how that works. I did stand up for I've done it, I guess, for 15, 16 years now, and it's challenging, but when you have a piano, you don't actually have to stand up. You can sit down and do a show that way. And I've known some very, 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 very good comics that do so. Um, that
that's
do
awesome.
musically, yes, and
Yeah,
they are amazing. Now, I know a couple that do it with guitar, and I know a couple that do it with piano, and they're
cool.
all great. Yeah. Now it is a little bit more of a logistical thing to get a piano where you need.
Yeah.
It's trickier than a guitar for sure.
Oh, it's a pain in the butt. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you, for entertainment these days, nobody's really, I don't think, watching TV the way they used to. What do you stream? Do you watch TikToks? Where do you go to be entertained?
It's mostly YouTube and like I guess Instagram, Facebook.
Do you follow personalities on YouTube, or do you just randomly watch stuff? How do you, what do you watch?
I guess okay, so YouTube is I'll just put on like these long kind of like interesting documentaries or whatever. I just
Okay,
like when I want to like zone out,
okay,
but when I'm scrolling on like social media, I follow comedians, I follow like artists that I really like, whatever I'm trying to learn
yeah,
or get
okay,
better at. Yeah.
okay, okay. Who are you trying to learn now? What's the new artist you're trying to take on?
New artist. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to say like specifically
Okay, I
because
got you.
yeah, I think I'm still just trying to like figure out like what's gonna be me and what's
Mhm.
different about me.
Well,
Um,
I don't know how it translates musically, but as a stand-up comedian, they told me early on it takes about 5 years to find your voice, and,
okay.
that held pretty close to true. Now, I do think as you get older, that voice changes, but I think from the time you start, really going into comedy, it takes about 5 years,
Cool.
and then this is who I am,
Okay.
so it's good to be where you are. It sounds like you're in that early exploratory, let me figure out comedically who I am so I can then, expand it from there. But
Yeah.
the tough thing for you is you have a hell of a lot more options than we do. I can only get up and tell a joke, or, I can move my face, contort it, maybe my body a little bit, but you have a whole, you know, music thing behind you that offers so many other avenues to pursue comedically, and
Right.
that takes a little bit to explore, I'm sure.
Right. Like I know who I am as musically,
Right.
like I know what my vein is, what my lane is, whatever.
Yeah.
And but yeah, trying to add comedy to it now, it's really interesting. Like I never was bored in my entire life. So I just like to just keep evolving and
Yeah. It's real common now if you look at for a good example of this, and you may not follow him, Garth Brooks, and I'm not like a big giant Garth Brooks fan necessarily. I mean, I do like his music or whatever, but he is really as much almost stand up comedy now as he
wow,
is music. And
I
if you
love that.
right, and if you watch his set, he'll have one of those headsets with the little thing that stick out, and he'll stop playing and he'll just start telling you a funny story, and he's telling it
Wow.
very stand-up comedian style.
Yeah.
It's just stand-up, honestly, it is. And I'm seeing more and more artists who are kind of employing that technique of, I'm going to use my music and my mouthpiece to entertain.